It's July 21st, Thursday, July 21st. We are in Havana, Cuba. We are currently right now in Havana CENTRO, which is Central Havana, and it's the second neighborhood that we've been in. Yesterday we did Old Havana, and today we're in Central Havana. We've been around to other places too, but it's kind of wild. This is where the Capitol building is, Capitolio. And there's a bunch of museums and really old buildings around, but of course we saw that yesterday. Same thing was in Old Havana. We're stopping to have some lunch. It's a little after 4 o'clock right now, and we just happened upon one of these little places that have food and drinks, and we'll show you the place now. So right over my shoulder is actually where the kitchen is, that you can't see because they got the door closed, and you can see the beautiful woodwork on the ceiling. And then over the edge is the first floor. We're on the second floor of a 2-story place, and that's it. That's the entire place. And so we're gonna try to get a little cool. There's a fan behind me blowing as hard as it can, and it's not doing nearly enough. Really, really hot. It's muy calor, which is really hot. Okay. It's 8 o'clock, Thursday, July 21st. 8 o'clock p.m. toward the end of our day. Still a lot of daylight out, but we've had some eventful hours since our last video. We met up with some random dude who stopped us on the street. Seemed really, really friendly. We still think he may have been really, really friendly, but he was a tour guide, and we talked to him for a couple minutes on the street, and he's like, "Oh, come here, there's some music playing." And
he said it was a festival, and it wasn't a festival.
I don't know if you just heard that from Janice, but he said it was a festival, and it wasn't a festival. It was a restaurant where some music was playing. So we went into this restaurant with a guy, and by the way, he's like, the whole time, he's like, "Ask me questions, ask me anything about Cuba. Anything you want to know, just ask." And we were asking a lot of questions, and he was answering all of them. And in the restaurant, we're still talking to him, still asking a lot of questions. He's still answering a lot of them. We ordered some drinks, and there's a band playing, and he's talking about how the band's a bunch of professional musicians, and they tour all over the world, and they've been to Europe, and they've been to New York, and then we get the bill, and it's $40 US, and we literally only had 4 drinks and a water. And for those 4 drinks and the water, we have been paying probably maybe $15. We had mojitos, which is the national drink of Cuba, and we've been paying about $3 or $5 for those each. So maybe 21 bucks is what we should have been expecting, and it was $41, and we were just kind of blown away. Janice kind of got a little upset at the guy and was like, "We weren't expecting this. What the hell?" And it's a lesson learned. We should have asked before we ordered the drinks how much they were going to cost, and not just expected that they would have been on par with everywhere else we went. The guy did, however, to his word, take us to this place that was really just this lady's house, around the corner from where we had the food, where we bought cohibas. We paid $30 US for 25 cohibas, and that's a really good deal. I mean, that's a little over $1 per, and we saw them elsewhere for probably anywhere between 4 is what we paid for a couple of them a couple days ago, all the way to $7.50 or $8 is what we were told they would cost other places. Singles, as a pack, they're a little bit cheaper, but in fact, when we first walked in, the lady that sold them to us, she originally was like $80 for the 25, and the guy was like, no, give him a deal. And I think honestly the guy felt bad because Janice had been getting on to him about, you know, we getting overcharged at the restaurant. So, and he also said, you know, they'd be like 30 or 35 bucks. He said they'd be 35 bucks for 30 cigars, and they were 25 cigars, which we got for 30. So, not all was lost. However, we did feel like we got completely swindled at the restaurant. But you know, it was interesting because we didn't tip at all at the restaurant. And then we've been tipping everywhere we go, relatively close to American prices, a little bit less. The other thing is, after the cigars, like we said goodbye to the guy, and he's like, you know, could you hook me up with a tip, you know, 5 or 10 bucks, something like that. And Janice was immediately like, hell no. I mean, she didn't say hell, but she was like, no. She was like, not $1. It was kind of funny, actually. And the guy was like, even $1 maybe? And Janice was like, nope. And so he's like, okay. And he was nice about it. So, I mean, he didn't get angry and didn't, say anything else about it. He was like, all right. And he did give us his information before we left the restaurant, in case we wanted to do a tour later on. But all in all, he was a super nice guy. He just, you know, it's a racket that they run. He takes these people to the restaurant. You know, they all get upcharged. He gets a small cut of that. He takes them to get cigars. He gets a cut of that. So he gets some. Some of the stuff he said was really, really interesting. He said that Cuban citizens get taxed 90%, meaning they take home $1 out of every $10 that they make. The government gets the other $9. But we also questioned some of the things he said, because we asked him about bus prices and, you know, how to get here and there, and a lot of the prices he was saying was way higher than what we were expecting. So we kind of think that area was probably a very heavily tourist area where, you know, prices are just more expensive there. Then after we left getting the cohibas, we got rained on. It just started pouring out of nowhere, and we got soaked. And it was like, we've been able to find taxis everywhere, just everywhere you look, the rest of the trip. But when it starts raining, we can't find a taxi anywhere. So we end up, walking for a bit, looking for the taxi, and finally we catch one. Probably like only 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, still getting poured on, and the taxi was more expensive than what we've been paying to get back to our hotel. But it was raining, so we didn't really have a lot of leverage. The only leverage we did actually use, which worked out, well, the guy didn't argue, was we had negotiated a rate of $8 for the taxi ride. Normally we've been paying about $5, but then when we looked at how much money we had a bunch of 20s, which we didn't tell them about, but we had 7 and some change, and so we were like, we'll just tell them that's all we've got. So we, like, halfway through the ride, we were like, hey man, all the money we have is $7, and he was like, oh, okay, because we were already going, I guess. But anyway, so all in all, it's been interesting. We also just lost a water bottle. We brought 2 water bottles with us to refill with water wherever we go, and we really liked our water bottles, and somehow in the rain, in the taxi, not really sure, we lost it. And it was like securely attached to the backpack that we had, so we don't really know how it came off. But anyway, not the best day. Some lessons learned for us, and that's today.